Good day, dear masters. Today we're going to have the second part of the musical Sleeping Beauty, because I've made the second component of vaccine in the morning, and I'm trying to fall asleep at each moment of my life. So, but as usual, I try to do my best to awaken, at least for the first period. So today we're going to speak about problems of teachers' professional competence formation and what should be taken into account, what requirements should be taken for the professional competence of the teacher. Come back. Okay, so all the features of professional linguodidactics described in our previous lectures should be reflected in the requirements for the level and composition of the professional competence of foreign language teacher working in the higher education system. In accordance with this, we can and should talk about changing the requirements for the teachers' training, the assessment of their professional activities, the provision of working conditions that would allow the teacher to effectively form the professional foreign language competence of students. So the special relevance and demand for professional linguodidactics is dictated by the need to develop the methodological culture of foreign language teachers in universities of non-linguistic specialties, which in the process of expanding professional-oriented training of foreign language specialists acquires new characteristics. So the linguistic boom that began in Kazakhstan at the end of the last century, symbolizing the increasing need for the study of foreign languages, and above all, the English language entailed a selective interest in the teaching corps, capable of satisfying a variety of, including some professional-oriented foreign languages, and educational needs of students. So the provision of such corpus is difficult to fulfill within the existing system of teachers' training. And the question is of how to teach those who teach a foreign language to future lawyers, doctors, economists, builders, customs officers, and other specialists. So this question has become more relevant than ever. So our science has established that along with the linguistic and psychological and pedagogical training of the future teacher of foreign languages, methodological literacy, the foundation of which are laid in the university, plays an important, if not the leading role. So the complex of methodological skills includes such types as design, adaptation, organizational, motivational, communication skills, control and self-control skills, cognitive and auxiliary skills. It is these skills in their aggregate that constitute the basis of the core of the professional methodological culture of the foreign language teacher. If earlier, a foreign language teacher could distance himself from the specifics of the subject and focus only on the peculiarities of foreign language, justifying his position with the received linguistic education. Today, the concept of professional competence of a foreign language teacher for professional purposes began to include additional knowledge of that special discipline which is studied in a specific educational institution. So, hence, the question arose, do foreign language teachers need special professional training? You can definitely say yes. Based on the judgment, practice what you preach. The arguments put forward by many researchers of this problem are not without grounds. Since without basic knowledge of a special subject, it is impossible to achieve success in the study of foreign language in the field of professional communication and ultimately to form a foreign language professional competence among students, which is the goal of training in both linguistic and non-linguistic universities. At the same time, a number of scholars have proven that foreign language teacher doesn't have to have special education in addition to linguistic, but he must know the basics and the profile discipline of the university, have a steady interest in it, and build his education on the principles of professional linguodidactics, focusing on interdisciplinarity, interactivity, and integrativity. So what is the difference between an English teacher, the so-called general English, and the English for professional purposes, so EPP? I'm going to use a lot of abbreviation next. So let us consider that English for professional purposes is EPP. So studies on the identification of common and distinctive features among teachers of special and linguistic groups have shown that the function of the EPP teacher are much wider than that of a teacher of a general foreign language, which lies first of all in the very nature of professional-oriented programs and courses. So along with the set of skills that a teacher of a foreign language should have, both in a linguistic and in specialized university, the following should be included in the range of problems that teachers of the English for professional purposes face first of all. So here it is. So face first of all. So work with professional text, determination of the level of specialization, the content of educational material, to many of, I should say, the presence of the foundation of special professional knowledge, specialized education. So scientific studies of special discourse have shown that the linguistic knowledge necessary for understanding special texts doesn't differ much from the linguistic knowledge for general texts. In special texts, the structure of discourse can be more compressed and supplied with a large number of special terms. But this doesn't complicate the work for specialists who are familiar with the specialty, and the terms used are often international. So working with such text is highly motivated and proves that foreign language can be a means of gaining new useful professional knowledge. From this point of view, texts should be selected as elements of the learning process, since too complex or too difficult texts lead to a loss of interest in their study. So, the teacher himself must know the area of the specialty. Otherwise, they don't need to be used. Since the teacher's competence is an important component of the learning process and determines the choice of texts. That's why English for professional purposes teachers are often the authors of different courses and manuals and teaching aids. All these require the involvement of modern pedagogical technologies, teaching aids, including the expansion of the teacher's competence, the reorientation of his consciousness to values that are adequate to the nature of creative or innovative pedagogical activity. The actual problem of effective training of a teacher of foreign language, for example, the technical university, began to occupy many scientists and practicing teachers. Studies were carried out in the course, so which, based on the analysis of typical professional activity of a teacher, 6 aspects of the professional competence of foreign language teacher at a non-linguistic university were identified. So in the screen you may see all of them. The first one is communicative. That is readiness for communication in a broad and narrow sense, including knowledge of the native and foreign languages, that is linguistic competence. Readiness for social interaction, including interpersonal, as an aspect of social and professional competences. Next gives cognitive component or aspect due to the level of intellectual development, master of the basic thesaurus and general practical frames. So the third one is technical, master of teaching methods as well as methods of working with professionally important information. And the fourth one, linguistic and cultural, both. The formation of culturological picture of the world, with the emphasis on the pictures of the world of speakers of native and taught foreign languages. Professional discursive, expanding the picture of the world due to the highly specialized awareness, implying the possession of special frames. And the last one is motivational, motivation for teaching and self-improvement, including the development of all aspects of professional competence. At the same time, problems were identified that require resolution to ensure the optimal quality of work of such scientific and educational methodological units. Among them are professional, pedagogical, organizational, and social psychological problems. In this context, it was proposed. So a lot of steps. Enrichment of the departments of foreign languages with specialists with technical education, including teachers of the technical departments of this university with a sufficient level of foreign language training. Improving pedagogical and linguistic qualifications and the qualification courses, and all through a system of specialized seminars. Interaction of a student, future, for example, engineers or future specialists, undergoing training and already having a certain professional experience. Advanced training on the basis of the departments of technical university, carrying out special training of students, which allows teachers to better understand the content of special frame material in a foreign language, which they use for, just a moment, linguodidactic purposes. Next one, cooperation with teachers of special departments. Attraction of foreign language teachers to work as translators at international events in technical universities. So this will allow teachers to become better acquainted not only with the set of the most frequent professional frames in the main specialists in the university employ, but also with the culture of the countries of foreign language taught by direct observation of the behavior of native speakers or, for example, frequent users of foreign language, and the existence in the language environment. So just a second, I'm going to switch off the sound. So to motivate teachers to actively use the resources of the internet, which is an almost unlimited professional thesaurus. Mutual attendance of classes, both according to the established schedule and on the private initiative of teachers. The work of the School of Pedagogical Excellence, within the framework of which there is an exchange of experience, for example, through attending classes conducted by both experienced teachers for young colleagues, and a system of presentations at methodological seminars of the Department of Foreign Languages and other scientific and methodological departments of this university. Effective distribution of methodical work among the members of the department. Attracting the staff of the department to participate in intra-university and inter-university projects, experiments and commercials for some self-supporting and state programs. And this allows to improve the professional level of teachers and provide them with additional motivation. So based on these and a number of other studies, we can offer the following practical recommendations for teaching foreign language. Teachers for professional purposes. So here hello. So here they are. The teacher needs to know himself, which means be able to substantiate the choice of a particular method of teaching foreign language, identifying the necessary theoretical and practical base, the appropriate and most acceptable type of lessons, systems of exercises, and methods of control. To identify the level of their professional competence, which means not only mastery of the linguistic side of professional-oriented material, but also its special component, which allows you to avoid grammatically correct, organized, meaningless combinations of words. That is, We must know what we teach and select, replenish, adapt, and create new educational material with professionally oriented content. So the next one, the teacher needs to know the students. What does it mean? Be able to analyze needs, identify the level of language proficiency, their problems and mistakes, which allow to create an individual training program, to determine the area of professional interest of trainers and their attitude to the study of foreign language, so to maintain motivation. The teacher needs to know his professional community, which means to carry out close cooperation with English for special purposes teachers and teachers of special disciplines. To improve in refresher courses, not only in linguistic disciplines, but also to intern directly at enterprises in their specialty. Subscribe, read, and if possible, publish articles in methodological journals. Attend seminars, roundtables, conferences, and courses on teaching foreign language for special purposes, since the exchange of experience and opinions provide answers to many problems of professionally oriented learning. Axiological requirements for English for professional purpose teacher in the context of the internationalization of education include an understanding of the value semantic aspect of the content of professional oriented foreign language education. Knowledge of the requirements of international professional communication in a multicultural world. The ability to educate students in intercultural, interethnic, and interconfessional tolerance. The ability to help a student to preserve his national identity and civic position in a multicultural professional world. And teachers' requirements for professional self-development. Among the linguo-methodological requirements, it is necessary to highlight the knowledge of special terminology, the foundations of the genre and discourse, characteristics of this professional field, knowledge of the basics of the methodology and competence-based approach, knowledge of the methodological provisions and pedagogical technologies for English for special purpose, English for academic purpose, and English for academic purposes is a necessary tool for the development of academic written and oral communication skills. Clear professional linguodidactics, the ability to carry out formative assessment of language knowledge and profile disciplines. And knowledge of methodological support technologies that facilitate the integration and assimilation of the language and subject discipline, as well as the development of communication skills, the ability to plan the result of educational activity. Of specific requirements for English for professional purposes teacher, made it possible to formulate the principles of the formation of his professional methodological competence, which is one of the priority goals of professional linguodidactics. Thus, based on the analysis of the above requirements for the English of professional purposes teacher, the formation of professional methodological competence should be based on principles, many of which are consonant with the professional linguodidactics methodology. And they are integrativity, interdisciplinary cooperation, linguistic methodological support, professionalization of foreign language teaching, informatization, cognition, multiculturalism, professional self-development of teacher. At the same time, the content and structure of professional methodological competence of the teacher, including linguo-professional, linguo-methodological, interdisciplinary, axiological, and multicultural competencies, was designed on the basis of the above principles. So this made it possible to solve another task when the by the professional linguodidactics to develop a linguo-professional model of training in English for professional purposes teacher for a work on the basis of subject-language integration. This model substantiates the content and structure of the professional and methodological competence of a foreign language teacher that meet additional requirements for a foreign language teacher for professional purposes, which involves the study of such aspects of training of teacher as the axiological aspect of the professional competence of teacher, revealing the essence of interdisciplinarity and the role of English teacher in the implementation of the language policy of the university in the context of higher education internationalization. The linguistic and professional aspect of professional competence, including the possession of a system of general linguistic knowledge in the field of foreign language, taking into account the focus on the development of skills in foreign language professional communication, knowledge of the basics of business communication in foreign language, and foreign language for academic purposes, aimed at developing the skills of oral and written academic discourse. Just a moment. So the linguistic and professional aspect of teacher training. That someone is still coming. Sorry, the linguistic and methodological aspect of teacher training, providing for knowledge of basics of domestic concept, personal-oriented system activity, intercultural, social, cultural, and communicative approach in foreign language education, as well as foreign and domestic directions, focusing attention on the interdisciplinarity of integrated training in foreign languages and specialties. And someone is still coming. Just a moment. So as a methodology for professional-oriented foreign language teaching and training, the teacher should apply the most effective methods and techniques characteristic of these approaches. And among them, the most effective one are technologies of linguistic and cognitive training support, taxonomy of educational activities for the development of students' thinking skills, the Common European Framework for Languages, descriptor scale, summarizing forms, presentation, final essay, project defense, oral exam, and so on, and formative assessment. That is project preparation, writing an analytical review, portfolio, to diagnose the level of students' achievement in the framework of the integrated course of study of the foreign language and specialty. So the interdisciplinary aspect of professional methodological competence of English teaching includes instilling in students respect for their native language and for the values of the national cultural and scientific heritage, as well as the ability to preserve their civic identity of a specialist in the context of integration. The new status of the English language as a lingua franca of professional and social communication, and on the change in the semantic accents of foreign language training. So, educating students for intercultural, interethnic, and interface tolerance, a respect for the originality of a foreign language culture and the values of multicultural foreign language society, helping students navigate the possibilities of professional multicultural interaction, internship, training, summer schools abroad, international student projects, and so on. So, and to sum up all this, we are going to make the list of 21st century teaching competencies. So, first, teachers demonstrate leadership. Teachers lead in the classroom by evaluating student progress using a variety of assessment data measuring goals, drawing an appropriate data to develop classroom and instructional plans, maintaining a safe and orderly classroom that facilitates student learning, and positive management of student behavior, effective communication to diffuse and de-escalate disruptive or dangerous behavior, and safe and appropriate seclusion and restraint techniques. So, teachers demonstrate leadership in the school by engaging in collaborative and collegial professional learning activities, identifying the characteristics or critical elements of a school improvement plan, and displaying an ability to use appropriate data to identify areas of need that should be addressed in a school improvement plan. So, the third point C. Teachers lead the teaching profession by participating in professional development and growth activities and developing professional relationships and networks. Teachers advocate for schools and students by implementing and adhering to policies and practices positively affecting students' learning. Teachers demonstrate high ethical standards. So teachers establish a respectful environment for a diverse population of students. Teachers provide an environment in which each child has a positive, nurturing relationship with caring adults by maintaining a positive and nurturing learning environment. Teachers embrace diversity in the school community and in the world by using materials or lessons that counteract stereotypes and acknowledge the contribution of all cultures. Incorporating different points of view in instruction and understanding the influence of diversity and planning instruction accordingly. Teachers treat students as individuals by maintaining a learning environment that conveys high expectations of every student. Teachers adapt their teaching for the benefit of students with special needs by cooperating with specialists and using resources to support the special learning needs of students, and using research verified strategies to provide effective learning activities for students with special needs. Teachers work collaboratively with families of students and other significant adults by communicating and collaborating with the home and community for the benefit of students. Teachers know the content they teach. Teachers develop and apply. Teachers develop and apply lessons based on an effective course of study by integrating effective literacy instruction throughout the curriculum and across content areas to enhance students' learning. Teachers honor the content appropriate to their teaching specialty by demonstrating an appropriate level of content knowledge in their specialty and encouraging students to investigate the content area to expand their knowledge and satisfy their natural curiosity. Teachers show they recognize the interconnectedness of content areas, disciplines, by demonstrating a knowledge of their subject by relating it to other disciplines and relating global awareness of the subject. And teachers make the instructions relevant to students by integrating 21st century skills and content and instruction. So, teachers facilitate learning for their students. Teachers show they know the ways in which learning takes place in the appropriate levels of intellectual, physical, social, and emotional development of their student by identifying developmental levels of individual students and planning instructions accordingly. Assessing and using those resources needed to address the strengths and weaknesses of students. Teachers plan instruction appropriate to their students by collaborating with colleagues to monitor students' performance and making instructions responsive to cultural differences and individual learning needs. Teachers show their acumen and versatility by using a variety of methods and materials suited to the needs of all students. Teachers display their awareness of technology's potential to enhance learning by integrating technology in their instruction to maximize students' learning. Teachers help students grow as thinking individuals by integrating specific instruction that help students develop the ability to apply processes and strategies for critical thinking and problem solving. Teachers help students to work in teams and develop leadership qualities by organizing learning teams for the purpose of developing cooperation and student leadership. Teachers reach their students best by using a variety of methods to communicate effectively with all pupils and consistently encouraging and supporting students to articulate thoughts and ideas clearly and effectively. Teachers best assess what students have learned by using multiple indicators, both formative and summative, to monitor and evaluate students' progress, and to inform instruction, and providing evidence that students are attaining 21st century knowledge, skills, and dispositions. So, the last one. Teachers reflect on their practice. Teachers analyze students' learning by using data to provide ideas about what can be done to improve students' learning. Teachers link professional growth to the professional goals by participating in recommended activities for professional learning and development. Teachers function effectively in a complex, dynamic environment by using a variety of research-verified approaches to improve teaching and learning. So, ideally, educators should demonstrate the following competencies: effective classroom managing, maximizing efficiency, maintaining discipline, promoting teamwork, planning, communicating, focusing on results, evaluating progress, and making constant adjustments. A range of strategies should be employed to promote positive relationships, cooperation, and purposeful learning. Organizing, assigning, and managing time, space, and activities should ensure that is representing different viewpoints, theories, ways of knowing, methods of inquiry in the teaching of subject matter concepts, multiple teaching and learning strategies should help engage students in active learning opportunities that promote the development of critical thinking, problem solving, and performance capabilities, while helping them assume responsibility for identifying and using learning resources. Effective assessment, incorporating formal tests, responses to quizzes, evaluation of classroom assignments, student performances and projects. Assessment strategies should be developed that involve learners in self-assessment activities to help them become aware of their strengths and needs and encourage them to set personal goals for learning. And technology skills, this is the last one, knowing when, how to use current educational technology, as well as the most appropriate type and level of technology to maximize student learning. So that's all for today. I promised to send you the lecture script in the evening after two coming lectures. Okay, well, a little bit early. I'm not going to add the persons in the waiting room. See you next Tuesday, because one day is going to be holiday.